Hey, what's up everybody? I'm David Magone. Yesterday I posted a clip on the Yoga Transition site of a transition from the straddle split to the formidable pose. Today I thought I would basically break down a slow progression to help you work on your straddle split if you're not quite into the full posture yet. Now basically to do this one, it's good to be heated up, so if you want to run around your house a few times or do some sun salutations, basically anything to get a little bit sweaty, it'll make your work a whole lot easier. Now, generally when prepping for it, I try to work pretty substantially on the inner thighs from a standing position with usually just a couple of different options. The first is taken from the horse stance. When you're ready to start, begin with your feet like maybe 4 to 5 feet apart. Turn your toes out about 25 degrees and then bend your knees substantially until your sitting bones are approximately the same height as your knees. From there, take your hands to your kneecaps and begin pressing your inner thighs apart. Now as you do this, you can kind of curl your tailbone up in the air. You can let the weight of your pelvis settle down between your thighs. And as you press out, you get some pretty huge inner thigh opening stretch. To increase the stretching that you're getting on one side at least, rotate your chest to the right hand side. Press outward to your left hand and downward to the right hand. And as you continue rotating and spinning your torso away from the leg, you get a little bit more stretch on the left side. Now after that, of course, square your torso with the floor. Rotate your chest over to the left, and as you press outward through your right hand, drive down to the left and see if you can position the stretch in your right inner thigh. Now after doing that a couple of times, it's good to sort of sink down while lunging. So place your hands on the floor, shift all of your body's weight over to your right, and turn your left big toe to the ceiling. While you do this, if you want to deepen the inner thigh element of the stretch, you can walk your hands over in the direction of your bent leg, and as if you lean into it just a little tiny bit, while pressing out to the gas pedal of your left foot, you get quite a lot more stretch in the inner thigh itself. If you want to deepen that stretch still further, you can place your right hand on your inner knee, you can turn your left thumb down, you can grab a hold of your ankle, and then very slowly elevate your hips just a little tiny bit, and you press outward through your right hand to deepen the stretch. Now to transition to the second side, walk both hands forward, kind of crawl back through the center, walk your hands over to the left, and turn your right big toe to face the ceiling. Kind of slide your right leg bone backward in the socket a little bit to plug the bone into your pelvis. Walk your hands over to your left, and lean into the thigh of your left leg to open that groin. The next one is something to work up to with time, but if you want a ton more stretch, turn your right thumb to face the ground, grab a hold of the ankle itself, and place your left hand on the inner knee. Now I always like to take some of the tension off of my adductors, the inner thigh muscles, before I fully go for it. So lift your hips up just a touch, then press outward through your left hands. And as you hold there and sort of twist toward your straightened leg, you get a ton of inner thigh stretch. Now finally, when you're ready to put it all together, come back through center and place your hands on the floor beneath your chest. To scale toward the possibility of doing the full thing, begin walking your feet out to the sides until you feel a stretching in both inner thigh muscles at once. While doing this, if you roll your tail under really, really strong, you kind of feel how the bones in your legs jam into the pelvis and it prevents you going deeper. So instead, curl your tailbone up in the air to release some of that blockage. As you do so, keep your hands in push-up position and lower your chest to the floor. If at any given point you get uncomfortable, you can always press to straight arms. You can take your feet a little closer together and hang out there. Now, if you get to the point where it's relatively comfortable to hang out here, turn your toes sideways so you're more on the inner edges of your feet. Gently shift your hips back so your sitting bones are in alignment with your knees. And then just think of the action that a really happy dog does with its tail when it sees its owner. Curl your tailbone up in the air, and then slowly let gravity take over and pull the front of your pelvis closer to the floor. Now again, you can slide your hips back just a little tiny bit until your sitting bones are in alignment with your knees. If that feels pretty good, you can take your hands down to the floor, you can rest your chin on your hands, you can slide your arms out to the sides, or you could even deepen the stretch very slightly by propping yourself up on your elbows. There are lots of ways to get out, but one of the simplest ways is to simply plant your hands near the base of the ribs if they're not already there. And if from there you slide your body's weight forward, you can take your legs together and you're out of there. Now, when doing the straddle split, your nervous system has to have some time to get used to it. So it's good to practice this one every other day, as frequently as possible. At first, not a whole lot of anything happens, but then as your body gets used to getting into the posture, you drop down a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper until one day it just kind of clicks and you get there. So go slowly, be very patient, but give that particular set of exercises a try, and I think that you'll find it will help.